Hi guys, welcome to Zeitgeist Mastering. In this video we're going to take a look at and review the HDE-250A 5-band parametric equalizer from Customudiogermany. It's, as I said, 5 bands, and we're looking at revision C, which means it has a mid-side matrix. So by the push of a button we can have a mid and a side mode, which is fantastic for what I need it for. I'm using it for mastering here at Zeitgeist, and it gives a whole new feel and dimension to just using an EQ. So you can use it in stereo mode, and fantastic for boosting the highs, these sort of things, but also for this is a very accurate device for carefully crafting out frequencies and getting that something special. Very intuitive, very clean, very easy to use, and we'll put some samples through it in a minute and have a look more closely. So Customudiogermany is a company by a guy called Steffen Müller, who lives here in Germany from Duisburg. And this HDE-250A is perhaps the most popular product, and there are a range of products offered by Customudiogermany. This particular one is in a sense similar to the very famous Sontec EQ, and what Steffen's gear does is it in a sense replicates some of the best hardware out there, and for a fraction of the price. So it's well worth looking at. Let's have a look at the review. You can make up your own mind what you think, and yeah, we'll jump into it. I hope you enjoy. So let's go ahead now and take a closer look at the HDE-250A Customudiogermany high definition equalizer. As we can see here, we've got a black front panel with quite large potentiometers, and this particular one is a standard edition, as in I have not requested any custom changes. I've been testing this for the last 2 months, predominantly in the mastering situation. And the wonderful thing about Customudiogermany, which I can first point out, is that if you do, for example, want a different color faceplate, this is possible. Some people have requested powder-coated blue and this sort of thing. So straight away you'll see that it's perfectly symmetrical. When we're in left and right mode, we've got our left channel equalization, 5-band parametric EQ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bands on each side, each having a beautiful on-off or bypass, if you like, for each band on each side with these nice backlit blue LEDs. The whole unit, of course, can be turned on and off, bypassed with these 2 central buttons, and the magic button, which is new to revision C, is mid-side mode. So that is activating the mid-side matrix, which allows us to then look at this separate, our mid section, which is the left and right, what is equal in the left and right together, and our sides, what is different in the left and right, so left minus right with one phase inverted. Your side signal, very important for mastering engineers today, and that's where we can really start to get some 3D magic out of the sound. So first I'm just going over the controls, the general layout. This version is with 12 decibels of gain or reduction. So here's 12 decibels on the dial. It also comes in a 6 decibel version and the Elmer stepped switched version, which is often a choice for mastering engineers, so that you can, with each half decibel increment, there'll be a click point where you can easily recall the settings. I personally don't mind having smooth potentiometers because I find it quite good for finding frequencies, and if I take a decent photo, I can easily recall the situation anyway. And if we're not using it in left and right mode and mid-side mode, the settings on each side are quite different anyway, so it's not a case of having to get exactly the same on each side. However, if we are in left and right mode, it's very simple to put 2 hands on and just, for example, increase this gain here by the same amount. So that's the first thing. The layout's absolutely perfect, nothing to mention there at all in negative terms. I love having on and off available for each band so that you can very quickly decide whether what you're doing is good or not. And yeah, 5 bands. Each band is sweepable, clearly labelled. For example, this first band here is sweepable from 15 Hz to 820 Hz. And down on the bottom row, we've got our Q setting. On the low band, we can turn this to a low shelf. And so we can make a low cut on a shelf, which is a nice smooth 6 decibel style filter. I've got some frequency response curves which I will show you now. And as we can see here, these frequency responses are very even from minus. This is from the 6 decibel version, not the 12 decibel version which we're looking at in this video. But as you can see, this is when the filter is engaged. You do get filtering quite high up, right up until about 800 Hz. But yeah, very accurate. And that's what I have to say about this. I've been putting it through its tests. This particular EQ is incredibly accurate, incredibly musical, transparent, and has a certain grit or grip in certain frequency ranges. Of course, we're going to have a listen in a minute. I just wanted to go over the faceplate, the controls, the fact that you can customize it, and there we go. So hopefully you can see it clearly on the video when I make changes when we're listening later. But basically, that's your layout. That's what it looks like. On and off, mid-side, easy to operate. Great, well done. It is 100% silent. This is a transformerless EQ. Now, if you're after the more sort of character color, you can have Lundal or Carnhill transformers fitted, and that will obviously change the circuitry and give you a slightly different sound envelope. It's not necessarily recommended because the purity of this thing, what's so special about it is it's such a transparent box, and without the transformers, it's no noise and just precision, real precision. In the mastering realm, this is, a nice thing to have. There's surgical action. When I tune in 3.2 kilohertz and pull something out, I am really doing that. So if we go over to the screen now, I'm going to show you more about this precision. I'd like to use oscilloscopes and whatever, but I haven't got that set up. But what we can do is, if we're in left and right mode, I can show you using Wave's Q clone, which basically sends out a blip of broad spectrum frequency sweep from your 20 hertz to your 20 kilohertz. I'll let you have a quick listen to that. Can be loud, so be careful. Here it comes. That's sending out a blip across the frequency range, and here's our Q clone. And when we're in capture mode, we can capture the curve. I'm already routing this through the hardware. And if I go ahead now, as we can see, we've got pretty much a straight, flat line here. It's going through the chain through our Links Hilo AD conversion. So there is some, mild alteration, but basically it's very pure, flat curve. So we've turned on our EQ. Okay, every band is on. Both the high bands are set at 15 kilohertz, and we've got our Q set to the high shelf filter. Let's have a look now. If I increase both of those bands all the way up till 12, if we now look on the screen here, we can see that curve has gone up. So let's try something very surgical. Let's put the middle band, for example. Let's change the Q setting to a nice sharp Q setting. Let's say we want to pull something out with great accuracy. 1 kilohertz. Let's try 800 right in the middle there, and we'll pull that out. So if you look there, perfect replication. Now, of course, if we're in mid-side mode, we can't really use Q-clone to check our curves and test. But that's just, I wanted to give you a quick demonstration of how accurately this EQ will affect the signal and pull things out. Alright, let's get to the fun part and have a little bit of a listen to a couple of samples and what we can do to the sound. I've got a sample here from a producer called Christian Bachmann, who's also in Berlin, and he's using an entirely analog setup to produce this electro sound. So a bit of analog hardware certainly doesn't hurt with the mastering processing. Let's have a listen and see what we can do with the HDE-250 to spruce it up a bit. I think those high frequencies could do with a little bit of a boost there. So we're in normal mode, stereo mode. It's switched on. We're routing through at the moment. Let's have a listen as I boost some of those highs and see what we can do to bring them out. -12, +12. Bypass, back on. Okay, I wouldn't normally do a +12 boost, but as you could hear, even at that intensity, it was still musical and transparent, and that's what I love about this box. It's you can get away with what you feel like, and it's very, very intuitive. You can also sweep the frequencies a little. Bypass. So that's adding 6 decibels now at around 15 kilohertz with the high shelf. That's great, but what can we do in mid-side mode? Maybe we can do even better if we go into mid-side mode now, and let's try just increasing quite a lot on the sides and bring that mid-signal boost down to 0, so it's not doing anything at the moment. Bypass. Then we can use our mid-signal as really a taste sort of decision to add the highs where we want, or to have the intensity of where we want. Now we've got the nice side sizzle happening. And another really cool thing I can do, I've got this free plugin here from Brainworks, and it's the BX Solo plugin, and you can download it, it's free. I've put this after my hardware chain, and what I can do is very simply solo the side section or the mid section individually, or the left and right, but it's quite handy in mid-side mode, so I can hear just that side signal and how I'm processing it through the EQ. So let's have a listen now to the side signal. What about just the mid? Great, so let's see what else we can do. Maybe we can do something also with that low end. I'll leave it in mid-side mode. We're at about 110 Hertz. Let's increase the Q setting a bit and try and find where the bass is most dominant. yeah, so it doesn't make sense to increase the bass and the side signal, I think, but that sounds quite nice. We're increasing about 120. Bypass. Let's have a listen to the bass and the side signal. Solo the side. We can really give some breadth and some 3D to those lower synth sounds, you know, so really open the track up a bit if we give a bit of a boost there. Obviously I'm on 12 just to find the frequency, but that's what I'm saying. It's quite handy to be able to go to 12 to find the frequency you're looking for. Maybe a little bit about there. Let's bring that back in. Bypass. Of course, you might decide you don't want to do it in mid-side mode. It equally is accurate as we do it. We might want to boost, you know, these low frequencies in both left and right. But for me, it makes sense to sort of open up the higher frequencies here and just boost in the mid signal. So I think that's sounding, you know, with just a tiny little bit of work there, and I'm doing it live in the headphones, it sounds to me a lot better. What we can also do is I've got these plugins set up, the New Gen Master Check plugin. And what we can do with this is we can simply level match to match the original and as it's been through the hardware. So what we hear is level match. So we're not hearing any volume gains from the HDE-250. That way we can know that what we're doing to the sound is helping. Okay. So have a listen. When I click this little button here, this little speaker button, that means we'll go to the original. That's before processing, and as it is now is after the processing. And this is now level matched. Before, after. Before, after. Before, so in this small example, you can see I've got real control over the sound, really finite elements that we can adjust here, and you know, really do a lot with our 5 bands in mid-side mode. So the level check thing is quite handy just to make sure that you're really enhancing that sound. I'm going to turn it off again now though. I just wanted to show you how useful that can be. And we're going to have one more listen, bypassed and not bypassed in mid-side mode. Okay, cool. So that's our electro sample. I don't want to go on forever here, so we'll go over to another sample, a rock sample. Probably some of you are rock and rollers. Here's one from Mr. Ortega, and a rock song we've got. So again, I'm going to reset my controls and see what we can do just quickly with this particular sample. I'll start in left and right mode, and then we'll have a look at the mid side again. All right.
Lo tonto que fui junto a ti cuando te abrazabas a mí. No te vayas por favor, que si te vas dejas que muera nuestro amor.
Okay, I'm going to solo the chorus there. And let's have a listen. Turn it on. I can hear a swirling sort of resonant sound there on the guitars. So I'm going to turn the Q setting up really high here, and I'm going to try and find that frequency. So we'll go to a nice high boost on both sides, and then we'll try and tune it to find where that is. But this might also be better in mid-side mode, I'm not sure yet. So you can see how I've applied some surgical EQ there with a Q setting of 4 and easily tuned in just by listening around 3.2 kilohertz and pulled a bit out there. Bypass, and back on. What if we want to try and add some beef to that kick? Let's try and tune that in a little bit. Again, I'm going to go to a high Q setting and try and tune that kick just a little bit, just add a little bit of impact. So I'm going to chuck it into mid-side mode and see if I can't do a better job. Possibly I can get more accurate treatment and certainly pull out that swirling sound. So I'm going to reset everything again and see if we can't do a better job in mid-side mode. And that's the beauty of this. We can really choose which mode we want and get accurate. So mid-side mode, here we are, and let's have a listen also just to the side signal and see if that's where the swirling sound is. It's a little bit there, but it certainly needs some highs on the side, you can hear that. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to solo the mid and do just the same. bypass. Great, so now I can use this low mid band to really control that side, let's say, body and amazingness. And let's have a listen, level match, just to finish up now with our samples. I think I've given you a good insight into how this thing can sound, and even making large boosts, as I said, certainly it's intuitive. You've got great feeling. I'm also doing a video comparing this hardware with some of the best known plugins, so if you want to check that out, also feel free. But the main thing about the hardware is the intuition and that accuracy. So we're level matched now. Original sample and our process sample. So I think even level matched, it does sound better. So we've done something beautiful to the sound, removed a little bit of that mud from the middle and opened it up on the sides, giving it some nice presence. So there we go. That wraps up the sound testing. So hopefully you can see just how intuitive it is, how easy it is, and how crystal clear that sounds. There's just no trouble at all by making these boosts and finding the frequencies. Based on basically the very, very famous, considered by many the best EQ in the mastering realm, the Sontec 432. But this is a fraction of the price of something like that, and that's something I have to really credit about Steffen Müller and Customudiogermany. He's doing things that are modeled on the best hardware you can get, and it's in a sense a fraction of the price. Well, not in a sense, it actually is a fraction of the price. If we have a look at a 2015 price list here, here's a few of the other products offered. The HDE-250 that we've just looked at is perhaps the most loved and the most popular product, and that's why it was good to do a nice little review for you today. Hope you've enjoyed it. But there's also the full switched Elmer switches, 7-band mastering equalizer with your step switches. A lot more pricey, of course. And there's the Pultec style EQ, then there's bus compression and even limiters. So you can contact Steffen Müller at Customudiogermany. He's got a Facebook page and also customaudiogermany.com. Through the Facebook page, you'll find a lot of different things. Here you can see a different one with a powder-coated blue front panel, looking fantastic there. And yeah, it's just real dedication to craftsmanship and a very clean product. I'm definitely purchasing, and I'm definitely happy to have in my mastering arsenal here at Zeitgeist Mastering. So hope you've enjoyed this review video. Do follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, we will keep in contact and see you in the next video. Thanks very much.